People warned me about the fury of Taylor Swift fans when I planned to make a video about Taylor Swift's politics and her brand of corporate liberal feminism. And to be fair, I don't think I experienced the worst of it, probably because my video was just so good. Even Taylor Swift fans watching it just had their whole mind changed by me. But there was still like a lot of criticism that I did anticipate, basically saying I was a misogynist because I was criticizing one of the most successful female artists of all time. And if you have a problem with anything she's done, then you must just hate women. And I wanted to get into that. There's some other comments I want to talk about as well. Some of them are a bit bizarre. I want to address a couple of them as well. One saying that, like, it's pretty clear from my music taste I hate women because I don't like any female artists, which is just blatantly untrue. Even the ones I listed in the actual video, there was a lot of female artists in there, but they were actually in bands. So maybe people, didn't see that or didn't know what these bands were. And also just people like really coping with how Taylor Swift like spends her money, all the issues surrounding her wealth. So yeah, I enjoyed doing this type of video for my YouTube sponsorship one where people got mad that I criticized Curtis Connor. And I just kind of like these videos because sometimes when you throw a video out there, it gets a reaction and then like you never talk about it again and you never really mention it again. And often you never go back to it because it's like a one-off topic. So I kind of like doing this because it forces me to like watch the video again and think about what I said and think about the comments and just give some sort of reply. So if you like this type of video, let me know. Because I actually kind of like making it. Because like I said, I feel like all my videos, even though I put a lot of time and effort into them, ultimately they feel very disposable. And once they're up for a day, like, that's it. But yeah, all of that coming up for you. Please check out my Patreon if you want to support my work and check out my social medias. My main Instagram, and I have a new travel Instagram, and I'm enjoying posting on both of them. So go give them both a follow if you want, and also check out everything else in the description. So before we get into some of the comments I got, I guess I have to like explain what my original video was on, because a lot of you wouldn't have watched that because you're like a new viewer, or maybe the 1 hour, 6 minutes watch time put you off, which I don't blame you, considering it's like, I don't know, 5 times as long as a regular upload. But basically what I did in the video was outline why I don't like Taylor Swift's corporate brand of liberal feminism. And basically I was asking the question, why is she so insanely popular? Like, it's reaching hysterical levels where so much of what I learn about her is against my will. So we analysed like cultural factors, branding factors. I talked about, globalised capitalism and how that's enabled Taylor Swift to become even bigger than some of the most successful artists of all time. I talked a lot about like cultural hegemony, which people informed me is actually a term in sociology. Obviously, I knew about like cultural imperialism, globalised capitalism, which spreads mainly Western culture around the world, where everything starts to feel kind of the same. And I experienced that myself when I went to Southeast Asia and Asia, where so much of it is, Western brands, Western music. The Western influence is very apparent in like nearly every single country you go to. And basically, I was just looking at Taylor Swift as a consumer capitalist product. Also, I outlined from a communist perspective, like my problems with liberal feminism and how it doesn't help anyone. Just, changing the gender makeup of a patriarchal system doesn't get you equality. If Clinton became president in 2016, it really doesn't mean much about equality for women, considering that what she's had to become powerful in the US system is basically upholding patriarchy, racism, all those different things. So a lot of people got mad because they're like, well, how can you as a man criticize feminism? Like, that's bad. You must be a misogynist. So I want to address that first, that somehow my critiques in the video were misogynistic, and that's what it was motivated by. And basically, this is in response to me saying that I don't think her popularity is based on merit. Not that she's a bad artist, singer, songwriter, all that stuff. Just the sheer level of popularity, I just don't understand, right? Apart from like, consumer capitalist reasons. So a comment here, this idea that she didn't earn this is both ignorant and misogynistic. So there is a certain bandwidth that she resides in the overall culture. It's about girlhood, growing up, and the act of falling in love and breakups. The last 3 albums have shown remarkable growth. She has touched on a sweet spot with her fan base, which has gone global. Because these kinds of topics affect intergenerational girls and women, there's a wholesome quality about her performance and her persona. You won't see her in stripper wear or twerking. You have made the assertion that she doesn't have much of a personality based on her music, and I'll maintain that. That is a huge assumption, and also misogynistic. This is really funny. I love this bit. Do you think people like Ryan Reynolds and his wife would be some of her best friends if she didn't have a personality? Yes, I do think that. Rich Hollywood celebs being friends with Taylor Swift, it's probably a lot easier if none of you have much of like, you know, controversy, have any sort of like edge to you. Like, Ryan Reynolds is basically a walking joke in terms of he is Deadpool, right? I do like what he's done with Wrexham, but at the same time, I don't think Ryan Reynolds being your friend is a sign that you have a great personality or something. I think this is responding to me criticising like her wealth and her merch. She pays all her employees very well. They are provided health insurance and liability insurance during the tour. I mean, I hope she pays them health insurance considering she's absolutely loaded. At the end of the tour, they are all given bonuses. Because this particular tour generated so much money, the crew who assembles and takes the tour equipment received $100,000. They would have the ability to put down a payment on a house. Now, I don't know how many comments I'll read. I'll have a couple of them. A lot of people are defending her wealth as something good. Like, yeah, I'm glad she paid her workers well. Like, that's a good thing. Well done. Everyone should do that. And you doing that is obviously a nice thing in terms of how often artists treat their workers or massive brands. But at the same time, she still does make part of her massive income on labour exploitation, like the sweatshops that make her merch, which does insane money for her. So I'm not going to downplay that just because she pays like her immediate staff very well. And what is this bit about them having the ability to put a down payment on a house? Like, why are you defending her so much? Like, why does me criticising a rich person's wealth, why does that need you to telling me that she gave people enough money to put a down payment on a house? So another criticism of mine, not like the other one, a bit different, but I don't think we could ignore her gender is influencing opinions like this, talking about my video. Male musicians are never expected to solve patriarchy or end capitalism, but a young woman, at the end of the day, Taylor Swift's image is carefully curated, quoting me, "This is the classic, women are not smart, they are calculated stuff, man." Female celebs have been hearing this stuff forever. She is a good songwriter, she connects with a lot of people, and she's critically acclaimed and popular. Sometimes popular things are also quality. I think people who like to prove they aren't impressed with her are people who love to say they don't like the movie Titanic. I mean, I would argue Titanic deserves its recognition more than Taylor Swift, but okay, you're edgy, I get it. I just don't expect my favourite musician to end capitalism or kill patriarchy. I also noticed too, 9 times out of 10 when people talk about her, they conflate lack of talent with dislike of her genre. If you write pop songs, country songs or folk songs, she is just objectively good. Which, I mean, no, that's not something you can say. Sorry, it's kind of a fact. It's really not a fact. If you don't like those genres, that's fine, but I hate it when people confuse that with lack of talent. I never said in my video at all that Taylor Swift is not talented. I actually said she is talented and her songs are fine. Like, I didn't criticise her music for being bad. I just said her type of song is something that has mass appeal because it's very cookie cutter in my opinion. It's quite bland, which goes in with Taylor Swift's like very bland image, which a lot of people can project themselves onto, which me and Holly talked about as well. And also this thing about, you know, I don't need my artist to want to end capitalism or end patriarchy. So in terms of my criticism for Taylor Swift's liberal feminism, it wasn't so much like I was like, oh my god, Taylor Swift should do more. I mean, it would be nice, but I'm not expecting that from someone like her. It was more talking about that in terms of like her public image and how she offers like this kind of false empowerment girl boss narrative that is firmly centered in neoliberal, mainly white feminism, right? And I criticize that because she isn't offering anything radical, but that also went against like the conservative argument that she's some sort of, you know, political revolutionary, right? I don't personally need my artists to talk about ending capitalism and patriarchy. My main point was, you know, people defending Taylor Swift as a feminist icon, which some of her fans actually do, is just pretty ridiculous. And I'll stand by that all day because, yeah, white girl boss neoliberal feminism really is not going to get us anywhere. And as we're seeing with things like Israel right now, it can actually help uphold fascism.
Every day, I fight to prove my worth, that I'm smart enough, that I'm strong enough.
That I'm not going anywhere.
Can a guy do guard? Come on.
Why not? Boy power.
Sounds ridiculous, right? We're not female soldiers. We're IDF soldiers, defending our country.
Because that's how empty neoliberal girl boss feminism is. Going on a bit more to more people defending her, do you have any idea what she's done with her riches? She's better to work for than anyone else with a private jet, and her philanthropic donations are made humbly. She's raising funds needed to do what's needed even if she's not doing them as cleanly as she could. Her intentions are good, which is what makes women in business different from men. You lost a follower, and yeah, I listened to the end. Outie. This was one-sided, another one-sided attack that she didn't ask for. This woman does amazing things for people that work for her. Hate on Elon Musk or something, which, you know, I've done plenty of that. Men are more likely to take advantage of those that make their success possible. This was so misinformed from someone who admittedly doesn't care for or follow this woman, which is bizarre if you don't, because it seems like you do. So apparently getting your details from other people complaining and then just repeating them like word vomit is the point of this faker. So 100% this person is actually a fan of Taylor Swift. If you are coming to her defense from my criticism of things like her wealth and saying, you know, I'm basically misogynistic for doing that, again, you have to be one of her fans, because why are you defending a rich person using a private jet? She's better to work for than anyone with a private jet. The bar for that is like in hell. I'm pretty sure working for someone who has a private jet, the norm of working for them is probably being treated like absolute garbage, right? And honestly, with people like Taylor Swift, I don't know what her intentions are with doing any charity work. Like, people just doing charity work doesn't mean anything to me. Like, so many terrible people have done loads of charity work. Often it's a good way to whitewash your image. It's often a good way to avoid paying your fair share of taxes. And again, I don't think this person was ever a follower of mine either, because I find that bizarre that you find my criticism of corporate liberal feminism, consumer capitalism, embodied by someone like Taylor Swift, is apparently like me hating women or something. So another comment like this, it's a bit spicy to say that a woman who is popular didn't do it out of merit, just in the sense that women have often come up against the idea that they can't possibly be good at things or be popular through their own skills. I understand why you don't like Taylor Swift, but she's considered to be one of the best writers of pop music today, and to dismiss that just because you don't like the genre isn't super fair, but you know, also who cares, it's Taylor Swift. Which is a point that will come up again. Hot take, things being popular don't make them good. And I'm allowed to think that Taylor Swift isn't especially unique, but also what people don't understand about my criticism is I wasn't saying Taylor Swift isn't talented and doesn't deserve success. I never said that. I was purposely talking about the insane hysteria around her, and no one can deny that she is just so famous and so popular, and a lot of us, as the comments proved to my video, are kind of like, why? And then that's why I dissected it, because I have to dissect the phenomenon, which goes beyond actually her music. Because is she the most talented person working in music today? Is she the best singer? Is she the most creative? I would argue no, right? And if we're basing it on like merit or something, I don't think she merits her popularity. Not because she's a woman. I would say that about like a ton of male artists as well. She so happens to be far bigger than anyone else at the moment. And I talked a lot about like Michael Jackson, Beyonce, Elvis, the Beatles in my other video. And I would also argue that the hysteria they caused wasn't merited either, right? The only thing I would say is culturally, I kind of understood their significance a bit more, where I don't understand what Taylor Swift actually symbolizes in the culture beyond like empty consumerism and empty neoliberal feminism. That was my take. So I saw this comment come up a lot, but it was more like buried in like long essay threads, but basically someone saying, another thing, with your music, it seems to be all male artists, or am I wrong? I don't know all of them. Someone else was saying like all your taste is just male. And I think in the video I said my favorite artists, and I did say a lot of male-centered bands, but I also said the XX and Chromatics and Arcade Fire. So Arcade Fire is led by a dude, but his wife is like the co-lead singer. Chromatics is fronted by a woman, and she's like literally front and center in everything they did until they broke up. The XX, I would argue that Romy is the lead in the XX. And also I said I liked Romy as a singular artist too. So there's a couple of women already. So Chromatics were my top listened to artist, like slash band, last year. And Churches were like second. And Lauren Mayberry is the lead singer and like the face of Churches as well. So I'm not saying this proves anything, right? I could have that music taste and be a total misogynist. It really doesn't prove anything. But the implication, for some reason, that I'm actually a misogynist because I don't have enough female artists in my favourite artists is just wrong. Some of my favourite bands actually are led by women. I mean, to neoliberal feminists, that would probably make me like some revolutionary feminist, but I understand that like me liking female artists or not, doesn't really make a difference to if I see women as equal or not. But yeah, King Feminist Kavernacle. I like chromatics, churches, and the XX, so I must be the best feminist ever. So another comment, in my opinion, if you have the energy to bitch about Taylor Swift over all the wealthy males causing real active harm in people's lives, you're probably a bit of a woman hater. She's a billionaire and that's fucked up, granted, but on the scale of causes of harm in the particular world, Swift honestly doesn't rank in the top 100. So, this comment would be fine if the only video I ever made was the last video, because I'm someone who makes videos criticizing the men destroying our planet, like, all the time, and most of my videos are focusing on conservative men. So if you're saying to me that you must be a woman hater because you made one video talking about Taylor Swift, it's just insane. And I know it might be a shocker to some people. I made that video because I was interested in the topic, not because I wanted to take down Taylor Swift and cancel her. I just wanted to analyze like her as a cultural thing, right? Which I'm allowed to do because it's my YouTube channel, and I like to make videos for fun sometimes, not just stare into the abyss that is political commentary, looking at all the terrible things that are happening in the world all the time. So another one basically accusing me of being a misogynist. This is evidence that mansplaining exists throughout all the political spectrums. I don't like Taylor Swift either, but this was really awkward. Men shouldn't tell women how to be feminists or read too much into the music some women might like. In my opinion, that's like liberal feminism. You're a dude, so if you criticize liberal feminism, you're mansplaining and you hate women. I don't think I was telling anyone how to be feminist. I was saying feminism centered on the individual and about replacing men but upholding patriarchy isn't very good for women's equality. Like, that's just the fact. I'm not telling anyone what to do with their feminism, but yes, Hillary Clinton becoming president, in my opinion, wouldn't really do much to change gender equality in America. Same in Britain. We've had 3 female prime ministers. Did that really mean anything? I would argue no. I don't really know what the alternative is, really. Like, am I just not allowed to criticize liberal feminism? You know, when I made those videos about the IDF TikToks, IDF influencers, that was very much a critique of liberal feminism. Do you, like, not want me to do that anymore? Don't want me to criticize female IDF influencer soldiers because that might be mansplaining and telling women how to be good feminists? So more, you come off as extremely misogynistic here. You don't acknowledge the fact that she's been writing her own songs and performing competently since she was a kid. Have you even tried sitting with any of her albums? So I'm aware of the time. I have a lot more comments about this, like, kind of similar critique about liberal feminism and me telling women about feminism and stuff. I don't really want to read through all of them. I did get stuff like this. Incel channel, I see. Don't worry, ladies. Taylor doesn't get what you think. Men, more and more I hate you, people. More keep attacking Taylor. You will never get women in your life, and unless they are pick-me's. Stay mad, incel. She's better than you in every way. So yeah, I think I said everything I needed to say about Taylor Swift and like white liberal feminism. Thanks for all the comments about that. A lot of you people were agreeing with me, and a common one I saw is that her feminism is very much rooted in being like a white woman in America and focuses solely on herself, right? And there's nothing really empowering about it. It's just like a catchy song, which is, you know, absolutely fine to listen to Taylor Swift. I'm not telling anyone not to listen to Taylor Swift. I just don't think accusing critics of her like brand image and why she's so popular of just hating women is very fair at all. And especially if I'm dissecting the feminist angle, you know, like I said, girl boss neoliberal feminism is how you get female IDF TikTok influencers. To address other points about me just hating everything popular, which I think are more fair, but they don't understand why. So people saying, you might need to consider this. You aren't her target audience. Not every artist has to be your fave. I'm not a fan of hers either, but I recognise that she's not singing to me. Her music is designed for you to like it. How is that a legitimate critique that you put out there? How can you say this and not realise, oh, I could say this about literally any other person making content that people will hopefully like and consume? I do really like this guy's profile picture, the Nevermore Crow from The Simpsons, but Cav kinda on his boomer shit here, complaining that Swift came out of nowhere recently. Everyone likes the same Marvel movies is pretty far out of touch at this point too. There's plenty of ways to do strong Swift criticism for an hour, but this could have been filmed in a drive-through. Watch the whole thing, same as you. Taylor Swift has been pretty generic to me, but I will be honest, brother. You come off as someone who dislikes a lot of popular things and just look for the overreaching reason why you dislike it. I think you need to understand that Taylor Swift and the MCU are not made for you. Just because you don't understand it doesn't mean there isn't depth to it or there's no value in it. So I don't think there's no value in Taylor Swift or Marvel movies. I think people kind of miss my critique of when something reaches popularity like the MCU did, or Taylor Swift has, there is going to be a lot in that which is uncontroversial, because if it's controversial, people aren't going to like it as much. So what you have to do is fit into, like I outlined in the video, a box of commercialism. You have to hit that sweet spot. Marvel hit that sweet spot. Taylor Swift hit that sweet spot. And Marvel movies, in terms of like politically at least, it's all very safe. It's all very status quo. America good. America is a good force in the world. Billionaires like Tony Stark are good. Tony Stark essentially being a billionaire god who is not accountable to anyone. That's, you know, perfectly good thing, really. And with Taylor Swift, like I said, her politics and her brand and her image, they all play into something that is very safe and very commercial. That's what I was saying with both of them. Now, to address the point about me being a hater of popular things, that is also linked to what I just said. I'm a hater of popular things because for something to reach such popularity, a lot of it is often uninteresting. And it can be great to consume it in terms of, like, you know, you watch a Marvel movie, maybe a better one, and you don't think it's terrible. You listen to a Taylor Swift song and it's fine. It's designed to be that way. It's designed for mass appeal. For that comment saying that, like, I criticize her music for being designed for people to like it, they're basically saying, like, everyone does that. But it's not true, is it? Like, I was talking to them about my YouTube videos. I put my YouTube videos out there because it's what I want to say. I don't say stuff because it's popular. I don't say stuff because I want people to like it, like, universally. Like, I made that Mr. Beast video ages ago, and it was like my most hated video for ages because no one else was saying that stuff. And even now, my Mr. Beast videos get a lot of hate because I'm not making the videos for everyone to like it, like absolutely everyone. Of course, would I like people to like my videos? Yes, I would like them to like my videos. Am I designing my videos and making my videos in a way that I want people to like them as much as possible? No, because I'm being true to myself and I primarily see my YouTube as a platform for what I want to say rather than, you know, something to make money off. Although I'm lucky that people seem to like me enough that I can make this into my job. But at the same time, a lot of people who make music, a lot of people who make movies, a lot of people who make a lot of things, they don't make it because they want people to like it. They make it because they want to make something artistic. And Taylor Swift might be doing that, and she might have fallen into this, like, very sweet spot where she is being completely true to herself. Everything she makes is what she wants to make, and she's very lucky that that seems to have this universal appeal. But my critique of, like, popular things is normally they're either like that and boring, or they're designed for mass consumption. So that's why I often find popular things uninteresting. But, you know, I like Assassin's Creed. I like Star Wars. I like stuff that's popular. I'm not above it. I would never say that. I'm not above popular things. But I do often hate when the culture, like, conforms around something and the conversation just becomes boring. But I do often hate conformity because it's around stuff that is designed to be, you know, mass consumed. Now, one more point I want to address is that not everyone, but there was a comment that popped up a bit, is that I talked over my girlfriend at the end, and that proved I was a misogynist. I did watch it back, and I noticed I didn't talk over her in terms of, like, you know, shut up, here's my point. I butted in often with context and just, like, little things I would say. And, you know, Holly watched it back and she said, yeah, you did butt in quite a bit. And I got to have a statement for the video where she said, thank you to all the viewers who showed concern about me being spoken over by the Kavernacle. Indeed, he did speak over me, something I only noticed when I watched it back. He was suitably reprimanded, but I also know that this is in his way of engaging in lively debate, as we do often in our equal relationship. After all, Karma is kind of my boyfriend. So yeah, I apologise to Holly. And also, if you want to see the different dynamics between me and Holly, if you thought, oh, like, you know, he butts in, misogynist. Well, I have two other videos of Holly. One where we talked about consumerism after, like, Hassan watched one of my videos. And it's more like a bit of like a debate because she's taken Hassan's side. And I would say the way we speak about that is more similar to how we spoke in the Taylor Swift video. But then we had another video talking about how the world is, like, actually hell right now. And that is more just like a conversation where I don't really butt in or interrupt because we're just talking to each other about something. So in my opinion, I kind of, I guess, saw this and the Hassan video as like a debate. So that prompted me to butt in more. But yeah, I'll work on that. I'll try not to butt in as much. Thank you to Holly for being so forgiving. But anyway, that is the video. The Swifties cannot cancel me. I'm too strong. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching.